It's April the 27th at about 7:30 p.m. Just had a spring rain here. Thought I'd give you guys an update on my garden. Got some lettuce growing here. Looks like it's doing pretty well. The onions are, some of them are doing pretty well. All still pretty small. Some of them are looking better than others. And of course, the ever-present wild onions. Again, all pretty small. We'll see how they do. These are some multiplying onions I got from Aunt Lou. Looking pretty good. Some garlic that I just started from grocery store garlic. The end of this row and every other row is sweet corn. All the way over. It all looks pretty good. Alright, over here. These are butternut squash that I started inside. I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have just planted them just out in the garden from seed. There's a couple of them here at the end of the rows. Some peppers, and all this pine straw that you see is from, I had to cover up my my plants 3 times. I guess I put all my stuff in the ground a little too early, and then we had a couple of different frosts. Peppers aren't looking all that great, but I think they'll do all right. In fact, there's some grass coming up in the middle of this one. Go ahead and get rid of that. Got an email the other day saying my, I think Hook and Crow is who makes it. At any rate, my new, ordered a couple of new hose. Hopefully make quick work of all this weeding. These are ghost peppers right here. This is an ornamental pepper. That's a weed. But these are ornamental peppers. And actually, look at this. Already have a few peppers growing. A few there, a few here. Hopefully these will get a lot bigger. The plants, not, the peppers won't get huge, but right here, some jalapenos, kind of small. And down at the end there, some bell peppers. These are some brandywine tomatoes. Again, all the pine straw is from having to cover them up to protect them from frost. But they're pretty big. I mean, they're doing pretty good considering it's April. These are some tomato tomatoes, which my kids will come out and just eat right off the vine. And they're looking pretty good. And then a shot out here of my fruit trees. I just last night painted them. Painted the trunks there. We'll walk out and take a look at them. I guess before I walk out, these are sweet potatoes. Hopefully those will take off now that the weather is getting warm. And this last little row of corn here, I actually accidentally plowed. And so I've got corn not just in the middle of the row, but kind of out on the side. There's one kind of off to the side, one way off to the side here. But it's because I accidentally plowed this row. Anyway, I forgot about the corn, but there it is. So we'll leave that be for now. And here are my fruit trees. walk over a little closer. So I just painted these trunks last night. It was my neighbors think I'm crazy for being out cutting grass and whatever after it gets dark, but that's what the work schedule demands. So anyway, painted these trunks trying to protect them from some sunburn that I've been getting on some of my trees the last few years. There's Molly. She's done a pretty good job of, I guess, just peeing right there on my apple tree. See some fruit forming here. These are apples. Some more forming over here. And some more up here. These trees are 3 or 4 years old, so I had a few apples last year. You know, a good many up here. Some more right there. I don't know if that's going to show up against the sky. But looking forward to finally getting some apples. We had a few last year. That's a Fuji there. I think this is a Yellow Delicious. This produced quite a few apples last year. You can see them all out here. We're going to have to come out and thin the fruit. This is kind of what they look like early on. Again, the paint on the trunk there's trying to protect against sunburn. It's a little mouser. I saw her actually catch 2 different mice this weekend, so she's earning her keep. This is a Granny Smith, which has traditionally we've had lots of trouble with this particular tree. In fact, if I step back, you can see it looks pretty crazy, but the reason for that is I had to trim quite a bit of fire blight off of it. But I've had a good spray program this year, so hopefully I'm not seeing the first sign of it this year. But tons of apples on this tree. I don't know if you can see all of these. Just tons of them. I'll need to thin some of these, but they're on every branch, so I'm wondering if I shouldn't prune some of the other trees more heavily. Just all over. All of the apple trees have at least a few apples on them this year. I would tell you what kind this is, but I don't see the tag from here, so I don't remember what it is. But at any rate, that must be a wine sap, but some of them are a little further along. So I am pretty stoked about all the apples that I think I'm going to have this year. This is a horse apple that my goats almost killed, but half the tree survived and kind of looks just like a lopsided tree now. And let's see, I think I saw a couple of apples on it earlier. Oh, there's one right there, so maybe we'll get to eat that. Oh, there's a couple more right there. So we may only get a couple of apples off this tree, but I don't recall this tree. I've actually never seen fruit on. This is a plum tree of some kind. I don't remember. I've never seen, I mean, it's been one of the best looking trees out here, but I've never seen fruit on it. But this year, look at this. Some plums there. And in there. Under, let's see. There's a couple. They're just kind of all over. If I look under any little spot, pretty easy to find some fruit. So hopefully get to eat those this year. This is I hope it has been sunburn that has kind of killed this tree. It's been pretty rough. I painted it last night, but at any rate, it's Plum tree of some kind. I can't remember. There's a tag on it somewhere. But I don't... Maybe I cut the tag off. I can't remember. But at any rate, this has produced fruit before. But I can see a few pieces of fruit here. I cut it back real heavily, so it's not the healthiest of trees, but look under here. Hopefully we'll get some fruit off of it this year, and hopefully it'll survive. If not, I'll dig it up and plant something new. These peaches for the last, let's see, last year I had peaches on it, but we didn't get to eat any. When they got about the size of a golf ball, they all fell off. Did some research and figured out what kind of bug I had, and I've been spraying for it this year. But just like last year, it's pretty loaded down with fruit. See all the peaches, they're all the size of a marble right now, maybe a little smaller. They're just kind of all over. Looking forward to those growing. Look in here. See those? This peach and the one next to it, I don't know what kind they are. I actually grew them from grocery store peach pits. And this one is about like what it would normally be. I've kind of pruned it to keep it short. This one is pretty lopsided off to one side because a goat ate the left side of it, and the right side of it kind of made it. Figured out I could either have fruit trees or goats, but not both. Lots of fruit. I'll have to thin some of this out. This tree I've also had some what I think is sunburn on it, some splitting of the bark. So I while I was out here last night, I just painted all the fruit trees. More fruit under here. Blueberries looking really good this year. Looks like I'm going to have loads of blueberries. Pretty stoked about that. My girls love blueberries. It's pretty hard for me to actually eat a blueberry because the girls, if they start to turn blue, will eat them. But looks like I'm going to have quite a bit. This bush right here I actually pruned some of the old canes out of. We'll have to see how it does compared to the other three down here, which I didn't do anything to. But just standing back and looking at it, it looks like it's got at least twice as much fruit. At least twice as much, if not 3 times more, than the other blueberry bushes next to it, which are the same age. Tons of fruit all over. Just, I don't know if that's going to focus. There we go. Now, sort of. These, if I remember, are Climax blueberries. This pomegranate and the next pomegranate are the same age. I guess the soil here is much better than 10 feet over there. These have bloomed a couple of years, but I've never had fruit on them. If anybody grows pomegranate, knows how to have fruit on pomegranate, I would love to know. I don't know if I need to prune it, if I need to cut it down and start from scratch, if I need to just go buy some pomegranate. These are grocery store pomegranate seeds that I just planted and a plant grew. Just now starting to leaf out. I don't know if I need to do anything or not. If I go next door over here, let's see. This is a red flame grape. I may have lost it to the cold this year. We had an unusually cold winter. I just planted it last year. It didn't have any sign of life at all. I'm not seeing the first green shoot on it. So I may have lost that to the cold. In fact, anybody that grows figs, it's here in Georgia. We're in kind of northwest Georgia. It's April the 27th. This fig looks like it sort of kind of started to bloom, but then didn't. It's kind of black all over. I'm just wondering if that's normal or not. I don't know. Anyway, hope I didn't lose the fig to the cold this year. This next one is a Thompson grape. which we may have also lost at least the top part of it. I, again, planted it last year. But at least if I look down here, I see some growth at the very bottom, so I may have to grow it back up to the wire again. Concord grapes, which I planted the year before last, they're doing great. You can see it's going to be fruit just kind of all over this one. Again, we just had a rain, spring rain. As thin as this is, I don't know if I should leave all this fruit or if I should prune some of it. If anyone has opinions, I'd love to hear it. When I pruned this this vine last year, I stuck some sticks in the ground, and look down here. There's one. I guess you see a lot of weeds, particularly onions, but looks like I'm going to have lots of Concord grapes to give away. In fact, I probably need to pinch all this fruit off. No reason. This should be... That won't focus. You know, these should be growing roots, not fruit. Pinch these off. If anyone lives close to the Atlanta area, I'm west of Atlanta, be happy to give you some Concord grapes. I'm going to pinch this off. Looks like pretty easily 10 here. I've got a few more that I started in pots. Let's see, pinch off some of this fruit. I don't know if this is fruit or if this is what it looks like before it flowers. I don't know a lot about grapes. Let's see, on to the nectarines, which are kind of the same as peaches. There are fruit on these, but not quite as heavy as the. Where have I seen fruit? Oh, there's a dragonfly. Which is just as cool as seeing fruit. Ah, there's one. Planted these. I don't remember if it was, I think it was the year before last. There's a couple of pieces of fruit. These are not just loaded up. There's a couple there. These are more peaches that I bought from a nursery. Actually, I think these came from a big box store. They do have some fruit on them. Some here. Here are the neighbor's chickens, which he brought some eggs the other day, which were actually pretty good. More peaches here, which I won't spend a lot of time on. Some plums here. Some more plums. In other words, they're right across from the plums over there we looked at earlier. I don't see a ton of fruit on here. A couple of pieces, not just a ton. Some more plums here, which I don't know if I see a single. Oh, yep, there's some over there. A few plums, one there, a couple there. These are not more than 2. I can't remember if I planted these last year or the year before, but they're not very old at any rate. I see some over on the limb, right there in the middle. Yeah. These are 2 crabapple trees, and they were quite a bit taller, and I pruned them to be pretty short. Crab apples all over the place. So those are all showing up pretty well. Another one exactly the same tree right there. Over here we've got some more blueberries I planted last year, pretty small. Blueberries. I don't remember what kind they are. The big ones that we looked at earlier were Climax. These are from, I think, Lowe's closeouts last year. Looks like Blue Jay, Jersey. Brightwell. I don't see a tag. Oh, there it is. Looks like powder blue. And they do. We're going to have hopefully some fruit. When I bought these, the climax ripened really early. When I bought these, I was looking to kind of extend my blueberry harvest. Have some longer. This is a male kiwi vine that I planted last year. It made it up to the vine last year, or up to the wire, which is pretty tall. It's almost 6 feet. That's the male. This is an Anna kiwi, which hopefully we got a T-post, T-trellis here. Hopefully this will kind of take over this 10-foot section. I guess that's 10 feet. I don't remember. And then this 10 feet. And then the male next door. And they say only in like 6 or 7 years I'll have, you know, kiwi fruit. We'll see. This is a Jupiter grape. Looks like I lost the left half. I'm going to blame that on the cold winter we had this year. But the right half is doing great, and looks like some grapes. I don't know if that's grapes or if those are going to be the flowers, but what I'll do is I'll take either this or this, and whatever growth I get out of this year, I'll run it along the wire and fill in this spot. I did the same thing with this one that I did with the Concord when I pruned it this year. In other words, when I pruned this stuff off. Stuck in the dirt. See, but I think it was already dead from the frost because it's not doing anything at all. I'll look over here at the Reliance next door. Looks like it's doing pretty well. We had a frost last weekend, I think it was. And I think that's what this is, which is pretty late for us here in this part of Georgia. But I think I curled up some leaves, and I think that's what this is. Frost. Or, you know, from the frost. But looks like we're going to have some fruit. You know, more fruit there. More fruit there. When I pruned it, did the same thing. There wasn't much to prune on this one. In fact, if you look down, that looks like mostly weeds. But if I get in here and pull some of this junk out, alright, look at there. This was Reliance grapes. And it's just the prunings that I stuck in the dirt. That's it. I don't remember if I put rooting hormone on them or not, but I see lots of leaves, so if you're in Villarica or close by and need some Reliance grapes this winter, I think these will be ready to dig and give away. I'm going to have quite a few of those. Looks like Reliance and Concord to give away. These are looking pretty good. This is a second Concord that I got from Grandmother Rogers' house in Ephesus, Georgia, behind Ephesus Baptist Church. I remember as a kid, which had to have been 30 years ago, Grandmother Rogers, when she lived behind the church in Ephesus, there was a grapevine, and I went out, looks like the day before Christmas, which would have been when our family got together, in 2012, and I took a couple of cuttings, and grew it. And this I grew in a pot all last year, planted it last winter. And I've got a grapevine here that was from Grandmother Rogers in Ephesus. So the parent vine to this, my grandfather had to have planted. My grandfather's been dead since 75. grandmother's still alive. I planted one here and one at my dad's house. So that's pretty cool. This is a Cynthiana grape that I planted this year. I just bought it from, it was only a year old. I think I only paid $4 or maybe $4.50 for that. Pretty small, but the price was certainly right. That'll grow up. Long way to the wire. Yeah, Cynthiana is what that was. This next one is, and I can't believe I don't have a metal tag. This is a Blanc de Bois that I got from Ison's nursery. I think that's 2 years old. Not 2 years old to me, but well, I think everything they sell is 2 years old. I planted it. It looks like it's trying to make some fruit right here. And I probably should pinch that off, but I'm going to leave it be. I've got 2 more trellises here that I built this spring. There's a video on YouTube of me building it. There's some 2 different kind of muscadines here from Ison's nursery. There are, let's see, Terra. Again, pretty small, but this is it. There's Terra, and there's also some Ison. Those are on down there, but as long as we're this far over, let's walk over. This is a Pakistan mulberry that I planted this year. Again, as a bare root from Ison's nursery. I stopped there actually on the way home from a trip. No sign of leafing out yet. Cut it off, you know, it was quite a bit taller. I think this is what they call an instant orchard tree, because it was, gosh, it's 4 feet tall now, but I cut at least 3 feet off of it at the nursery to package it up to bring it home, or rather they did. What was this? I can't remember. Oh, that's a Fuyu persimmon. Again, no signs of buds yet, but I have high hopes for that. Hopefully that'll grow. Some cherry trees that I just planted this year, pretty small, but hopefully they'll grow. And then back over here on these trellises that I built this year. These are some blackberries. These are Natchez. Just 5 of them. My intention is to take cuttings or dig up whatever kind of grows out to the side and fill in this place here between this set of blackberries and the raspberries here at the end. Right here at the end are the raspberries. Again, just planted this year. Just now starting to grow up and leaf out. This one's a little further ahead than the others. In fact, if anybody knows how to get rid of these onions, I have a billion of them. I'm pulling up. Anyway, that's it for my fruit trees right here in the backyard. These are all cherries, and then the last 2 are persimmon and mulberry. This I'm going to eventually fill in with muscadines. I've got the first row full. Looks like a couple of the vines I planted are not going to make it. But that's okay. And then all my fruit trees. That is a pecan tree, which I might have gotten half a 5-gallon bucket of pecans off of it in the 7 or 8 years we've lived here. The squirrels eat very well here. my neighbor 2 houses over, they dug up almost 200 tulips that he planted, which kind of ticked him off, and I think he has waged war on the squirrels. I see a lot less of them now that they dug up his tulips, so maybe I'll get some pecans this fall. At any rate, that's it. I'll just make a little circle here. Trellises I built this year. These two, some trellises from last year. Fruit trees. Painted literally last night at like 10 o'clock at night. The neighbors think I'm crazy for doing anything that late at night. The garden and the barn. There's the garden for this year. Already got some sweet potatoes and some corn and some lettuce and some peppers, some onions. The rest of the stuff is planted but not up yet. I've still got to plant some peas, some kind of black-eyed peas, and that's it. It's the update for April the 27th.